This is a scroll saw. And what scroll saws are, especially good at is making fine cuts, tight turns that you would never be able to do on a bandsaw. And so if you have something like this, something small in wood or plastic, say, and it's not worth setting up on the laser cutter or the ShopBot or the CNC mill, and just kind of a one-off quick thing, then the scroll saw is what you want. So how the scroll saw works, there's a motor, the blade, here let me show you another blade like this. You can see how thin it is. That's why you can make those tight turns, is because it's thin. And so the blade reciprocates, it goes up and down like that. There is a knob, you can turn it down real low, or that's at its fastest. Usually somewhere in between is good. You do have to be careful when you're cutting that if you don't hold it down, it will make the wood vibrate up and down. So you want to hold it down. You can back out. Now you see me, I was reaching in there to get that piece. It would probably be better to turn it off. If you nick yourself, you can give yourself a nasty cut, but you'd have to really be trying to cut off your finger. But do be careful. You don't want to get a cut, obviously, from the blade. Let's see here, a few other features. It does have this little air pump that you put the nozzle right there at near the blade where it's meeting the wood, and that just has, every time it goes up and down, there's a little pump, puffs out a little bit of air to blow the sawdust away. So if you're trying to follow a line, like I was doing on my first example, I actually had a pen line that I was following. So you're trying to follow that line, it helps to blow the sawdust out of the way. This little fork here is designed to just, well, in the ideal world, it would keep the wood from vibrating up and down, so you can lower it. There's a screw here. But really, you should be holding it down as well. But it also serves as a reminder just exactly where the blade is so that you keep your fingers away. Now, in terms of changing the blade, if you need to change the blade, here's how you go about doing it. This is, by the way, we have a packet of blades. They come in different threads per inch. In this case, it's 15, 8.5, and 20. Teeth per inch, I should say, not threads per inch, teeth per inch. And the more teeth per inch, kind of the finer the cut. If you're doing something that's very decorative, you don't want any rough edges showing, you want to go with a higher teeth per inch count. But in order to change the blade has to be in its utmost position. And there is on this side, this little nut here, you need a 5mm Allen wrench. So you loosen that here. And then also on the bottom. And this is why it has to be in the upper position, because otherwise you won't be able to get to this. And you loosen the Allen screw there as well. And then you can press down and wiggle the blade out like that. So again, the reasons you might want to change the blade are you want a different TPI, or maybe just the blade broke and you need to replace it. So in that case, you would take the new blade. This one's even narrower. Could do even tighter turns with this one. And you would put it in here on the bottom. It is tricky. There we go. Before it falls out. Now I'm pressing down on this a little bit. Now I can pull up. And I can tighten this. By the way, the tension between the upper arm that you can see and the bottom arm that you can't very well see in the video, but it's where the bottom part of the blade is attached. The tension between those two is adjusted with this red knob back here. And so you want the blade not to be loose. If you wiggle it side to side, you want to only, have freedom, a millimeter or so. So that is how you change the blade, and that's a little bit about how you use a scroll saw.